Welcome to the show. My guest tonight, Cait Alexander.
Hello.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for dealing with my crazy schedule and letting this little munchkin Ruby tag along. Appreciate it.
Can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Oh, gosh. Where does one begin? I was born in Guelph, Ontario. More doggies. I was born in Guelph, Ontario, and I now live in Los Angeles. I am an artist, actor, model, singer, and also charity founder. So I founded a charity called End Violence Everywhere, and we support survivors of intimate partner violence and sexual assaults. And I love coming to Calgary. I have a big crush on this city. Big crush.
Thank you. I saw you speak here, and it was really good.
Thank
really
you.
moving.
Thank you. That was a really fun night with Paul Brandt and Not in My City and Not So Silent Night. That was a really good gala.
Yeah, I love Not in My City.
Yeah.
I love going to those events, yeah.
How did you get affiliated with them?
Monique Barry brought me to that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before that,
The lovely Monique.
Yeah, love her. You're so busy. What does a normal week look like for you right now?
Normal? I think we're normal is the setting on the washing machine. I think that's what they say it. And I mean, her included in this now, do not do normal. It's a mix of everything. It constantly changes. A lot of developments in the charity world. I mean, we're suing the federal government of Canada for infringing on victims' charter rights. We're working with a bunch of nightclubs in Toronto to try to get them to not prop up sex offenders. A lot of heavy legal work. I'm getting my private investigator's license.
Cool.
I want to be a Charlie's Angel for real. And then on top of that, there's filming, shooting, doing a photo shoot tonight, cover story, lots of news, just to keep talking about these issues and ensuring that survivors feel like they're being heard finally after so long.
Yeah, and you thought you have time for a puppy.
As long as everyone's okay. I mean, how can you not? Yes, I have time for a puppy. I have time to be cuddled and loved and give cuddles and love. Right, baby? Right, baby Ruby?
A lot of what you do involves standing up for other people.
Yeah.
Did you always have that instinct, or has it developed over time?
I remember the first time I was in Toronto, I had gone and seen Beauty and the Beast with my parents, the play on King Street West. And I was probably 3 or 4 years old. And I remember seeing an unhoused person for the first time. And I distinctly remember just crying because I couldn't understand why he was sitting on the ground by the telephone pole. I couldn't wrap my little brain around it. So I went to my mom, like, what do we do? Like, do we bring him home? Like, how do we fix this? She's like, here's $1, gave him $1. And I think from that moment on, empathy's always been really important, but there are some things in this world that are black and white, right and wrong. And we stand up at End Violence Everywhere. We stand up for things that are right. These are very simple things, actually very simple concepts. And I don't like bullies. I'll push them right out.
You're also an artist, actor, musician. How does that show up in your life now?
After I was nearly killed by my ex-partner on July 31st, 2021, all I could do, I was so badly beaten, all I could do was write music, sit in my parents' backyard and write songs. So I think music and art is an amazing medium to communicate these very complex and dark ideas. And it saved me, as cliche as that sounds. The music really gave me, I did another degree at Berkeley College, music in Boston, when I was recovering because I needed something to do. I couldn't just lay there in agony. So Music gave me that channel. I released a song called Two People, which was written 7 days after my attempted murder. And it contains even sound clips from when he was beating me. And I think art is just the way that we can converse. And even if it's digital art, you can't get away from the world that we live in. So I live for it.
Do you put that creative energy toward your business at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, without the media support or we really have to give it to them, yourself included in this. Without these platforms and these conversations, we wouldn't be able to amend the things that we're working on amending. Or, we had a record number of private members' bills, which are the bills that members of Parliament table every session of Parliament, and a record number of criminal and justice reforms this session. So starting in September of last year. And I'm very proud of the work that my team has done. I know pride is a sin, but these are people's lives. These are real things. Those are real people. And I bring it all together. It's art and advocacy. I founded a production company, and we are working with different in the documentary space. I'm working on 2 songs. I'm going back to LA on Tuesday to record 3 other songs, I should say. And it all blends together.
When things are busy or intense, how do you stay grounded? Is music a big part of that?
Yeah, I think so. When all of this happened to me, when all this was done, I shot a fashion editorial, my first job back. It was 8 weeks out from nearly being killed, and I had severe injuries still. Here I am shooting this glam. Flew up to Montreal, this glam holiday editorial, pretty, whatever, beautiful, glittery, and I was in the worst pain. I had holes in my head still. I could barely put the shoes on because my feet were so swollen from what happened still. And I felt like I was lying. When that editorial came out just before December 2021, I could not, I was like, this is what it looks like, but what I feel like is so disconnected from what this looks like. And so for me, going public about that was freeing. It was liberating. It was justice, and it allowed me to live authentically. And I think art always requires authenticity.
I didn't ask you immediately about your story and your legal battle because I've heard it covered really well on other podcasts.
Yeah.
So I want to tell people to go listen to some of those. The one I listened to this morning, Jordana.
I love her. She's an amazing criminal defense lawyer.
That was a great podcast.
Thank you.
So I want people to go listen to that for a little context. And that's why I didn't open up with that with you.
I love it. I like to do things that are different. We're not here to rinse and repeat everything. So thank you for giving me a break from that too.
How do you think people experience you when they first meet you?
I have no idea. It's not my business.
It's a weird question.
No, it's not a weird question, actually. It's actually a really interesting question because I have the darkest days of everyone's life thrown at me constantly. I mean, I was at a Women Empowerment Awards in Toronto, and, it's a big gala, predominantly all women there, and people have started to recognize the work that we've done. And in the middle of this gala, I had people come up bawling, telling me the worst day of their life and all the trauma that they've been through. And so I feel, and I mean, it happens every day on every single social media app that exists. So I'm constantly carrying, and my team is constantly carrying the weight of everybody's worst time in their life. And so for that, it's an honor. It really, it's humbling. It keeps me in check, constantly being reminded of how fortunate I actually am to be alive and to be here and to be able to, share and mobilize things to fix the issues that we struggle with. But how do people perceive me? I honestly don't know, don't really care, but I care about how they feel and what they've gone through.
I felt an intense like aura of confidence. when I met you.
So, masquerading around, are we? Is that what you felt?
Yeah.
Okay, elaborate.
Well, I think maybe because you were speaking, you're really in the zone. Maybe.
I mean, Paul Brandt and his team, not in my city, Miss Rowe. They asked me 24-hour. I think I was on the flight over here for that, so I didn't have a speech prepared, and they're like, just go talk, and somehow it was in the program or whatever, and I think because justice was so robbed of me because I never had a criminal trial for the attempt on my life, that being able to speak about it gives me the confidence. It is the justice that I've craved and was not given. So, I mean, confident, sure, but I'm confident because I feel like I'm living authentically. I was able to tell my whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God, in a public space, and have it received with grace and love and compassion. And I really wish that every single survivor had the same social experience that I've had. And people need to believe survivors when they talk about these things. So I feel lucky.
I watched you speak there, and I've been listening to you on a couple podcasts, and I noticed you're very specific with your language about everything.
You're very observant.
So I was wondering if there's any words or framings you tend to avoid intentionally.
So language, as far as language is concerned, it's incredibly important because, I mean, being a songwriter and musician, I've always had a penchant for language and poetry. And I think it's really important the way that these experiences are spoken about. And, you know, calling it domestic violence, well, there's nothing really domestic about it. It can happen in a non-cohabitable situation. It can happen between people who live together. You know, there's nothing domestic implies, you know, you're in the kitchen or something like that. And that's not necessarily accurate. So intimate partner violence is a little bit of a broader stroke, which allows to encompass, the various types of violence that occur in those situations. And I don't like to use the word victim. I think, as harsh as it sounds, victims are people who are no longer with us. They're taken. Survivor is even a word that I'm struggling with it. We were leaning towards, at the organization, calling survivors the experts, because they're the experts of their experience, for better or for worse, and they know best what happened to them and, you know, what they need to recover. And survivor ties you to the abuse still. It keeps you locked in with that. So I'm even shifting away from that language. But if we can't communicate effectively, then, you know, how do we actually ask for change?
Mm-hmm. When you see people talking about intimate partner violence publicly, is there something that gets oversimplified a lot?
The system is broken. I hate that term, because what the heck does that actually mean? And I think we've come into a cultural time where we have these, you know, they're the lefties, they're the, you know, on the right side, like these broad generalizations that actually have no specificity and no nuance whatsoever. And I think that does us a disservice. So this rhetoric that the system is broken. Well, what system? Who broke it? How did we, like, what does that actually mean? And using that as an example, you break it down, and it's people. The system is people making choices, and these choices are criminal a lot of the time. I argue that the justice system, particularly in Canada, is just an extension of the abuse for most of the experts that go through these horrific experiences. It tends to double down in its current state of affairs. And so the system is broken because we've voted for governments that have put people in place that make bad policies. The system is people.
Is there something in the conversations that people rush past that you think is more important than they realize?
I notice in myself, and I can only speak for myself, I notice in myself, because I've it's been so highly public that, my attempted murder has been so highly public that I rinse and repeat a lot of the same sort of sentences. I'm always trying to find something, a different way to frame things, a different way to say things so that it's unique and everyone gets a different kind of take, and there's always something more to discover. I think a lot of the times there's a lack of understanding about how abusers work. I think that, we have there's stigmatisms around who victims and survivors are. And the one takeaway in serving, thousands of people over the last year and a half is that victims and survivors, experts are from all walks of life, all races, all religions, all demographics. They cannot be painted with a single brush. It happens in mansions, but happens behind the back alleyways, happens in fancy hotels, it happens in motels. These violences are occurring everywhere. The interesting part is abusers are almost identical people. These stories, these experiences that we've been privileged to support, I could almost pinpoint exactly what the abuser's next move is. It's a very simple book. And so I think people just need to understand that there's only really one way to deal with these type of individuals. And unfortunately, I am a firm believer in a incarceral system. I believe also that we need to have better rehabilitation inside of the incarceral system, but you can't have a dark triad, a psychopath, sociopath, narcissistic, Machiavellian person in normal society, because they can't function and they will always continue to do what they do regardless. So we have to do a better job of understanding that and not being so liberal minded with, oh, well, if we just tell them no, they're going to stop, because that doesn't work. And people die because of that. There are women in this city. This city, across the country, we have record numbers in Canada of women being murdered because we have that ideology currently. And it theoretically sounds nice, but it does not function in reality.
Can you tell a difference in the energy when the conversation moves from awareness to understanding?
I see it with men a lot. I love that. It's actually one of our mandates at End Violence Everywhere is to include men in this conversation. And it was my younger brother who precipitated this conversation, because he's a 6'3", Olympic athlete, real estate guy. He's 26 now. And he's just like, I don't get it. He's like, I don't understand how you come from our family. How do you end up in this situation? And I said, actually, abusers pick very empathetic, kind people to target because they love to watch them fall. For professional reasons, we're not we keep the professional boundaries with the experts that we serve, but all of these women are empathetic, wonderful souls. And it's our duty and responsibility to understand, that there's male survivors out there, and this happens to men too. But invite men into the conversation, invite them into ending it with us, even if they don't understand, because abusive men will listen to other men more so than they will listen to women. We do ourselves a disservice as women, being overly feminist and saying, we don't need men, we hate men. I'm like, that's not going to fix this problem. That's just going to add fuel to the raging fire that we already see. So we have to ask for safe conversations about genders and encourage men to get involved. That's why I think it's amazing that Paul founded On My Side. It's amazing to see, you at the event. It's amazing that, half our table was male, because that makes me feel like that conversation between the genders is starting to occur. I think it's really, really, it's the only way to fix it.
Yeah. I worked with friend of mine, Dave Sweet. He's on the board for Gems for Gems.
Oh, yay.
And
I love Jordan.
Yeah, me too. She's great. And I did Dave's social media, and we'd make a post about this topic. It's so weird, the negative male attention. Anything he said is like trying to flip it back. It was just a weird thing. The awareness wasn't there for them.
Oh, so tell me more about the post that you made.
He posted just basically stats. He would post stats. He speaks on it a lot, right?
Okay.
And on TikTok especially, the comments would be like, men just don't report it, and it's actually probably even, and it's women's fault. And it was just crazy. Only on TikTok, not on Instagram as much, but
they're lonely.
Yeah, it's weird. It was really weird.
And they double down on their own loneliness.
It was really weird to see that reaction because I've never seen that reaction at any of the events in person. Obviously, they're there for the reason, but yeah, I wanted to help get more awareness out to men also.
I think it's really important that we keep doing it, regardless of what people say. I mean, I've been on the receiving end of some pretty not so nice comments about things. And I'm allowed to swear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But I can. Okay, perfect. I think one of the comments came through and you're a white bitch slut who deserves to be beaten. That was one of the ones that sticks out to me. And I'm like, I recirculated that through Instagram stories. I was on Facebook, and then there were other men who went and messaged this guy and said, do not say things like that. You have no idea what she's been through. And he actually apologized. And
Nice.
So for me, it's okay. Sure, they say that, they reveal their cards and who they are. But if we ask questions about why they're saying that, or if we as a community say, this is not appropriate, you need to stop. If we don't allow it to happen, that's where things can actually shift. And so keep posting. Let them suffer miserably if that's how they really feel about things. Obviously there's something insecure and sad about their own existence that they're not happy with, and they need to look deeper. And unless you call people out on their stuff, then they're not gonna do it for themselves. So I think the feminist movement also pushed men into that dark corner as well. The hyper vigilance around men suck, we hate men. So it's just retaliation too. So this is where it's very, very important to have safe, healthy conversations between the genders. I think it's really essential in solving these issues and how we actually feel about things and being comfortable with debate. And I think it's the only way out.
Can you tell me about Eve?
Oh, Eve. You little darling, you. Eve is everything I wish that I had when I was nearly killed. And I didn't expect to have a charity in 2 countries and be handling and working with people who have been through these experiences. It asked for me. I didn't ask for it. And I have an incredible team, incredible boards. And we're here to make bold choices and not ask permission to have our rights as Canadian citizens or American citizens. We're here to change things up.
So when did you start it, and when were the first kind of few people you helped up until now?
So it was started, I think the tiny little snowflake happened during my peace bond. The snowflake that fell it's now into this mammoth-sized avalanche. The little snowflake fell when just right immediately after I had my peace bond. I was the only semblance of justice that I was given by the criminal system. And that was on March 26, 2024, when I invited 30 of my friends and was told by the Crown attorneys that I wouldn't be able to tell the whole truth. And I said, well, that's lying. So I'm under oath. So I'm going to tell everything. And, my violently abusive ex was there. My brothers were sitting behind him. And I told everything that he did to me. And the judge had tears in her eyes, realizing that they dismissed something that was near death. It was a miraculous moment. And so I had called my friends at City TV and I said, you want to come talk about this and see what happens? And so it got on camera, and it just, that little snowflake turned into a snowball, turned into the avalanche that we have now. And I really recognized that I was so not alone anymore in how this system had been extending abuse. And I kept getting invited into political circles, and I had a platform originally from, being an artist, but it was unbelievable what was happening in my life. I was in and out of Toronto. Like, I think I went 8 times in 4 months or something. It was just like, I hated going back to that city. I hate the struggle there still, but it grew. My brother, I keep referencing him. He looked at me and he goes, "I think you have a charity." And I was like, sure, why not do that? And then we were federally registered in July 2024 and got our charity status the last July of 2025, and in both countries. And here we are. It's just doing, people are like, what's the game plan? I'm like, well, we have, objectives that we want to meet and goals and things like that. But it's doing the next right thing, the next brave, standing on the side of survivors, regardless of political perspective, regardless of what the media says. I mean, we just got out of a situation. It was a Calgarian mother of 4. Her child was abducted on December 3rd, 2023, and by the ex-partner, by the, I can't even call him a parent, by the abuser. And he was taken through 6 different countries, Turkey, Russia, all over the place. And this child, who's 7 now, it was located off the coast of Africa in December. And we got the call because we were, engaged with 5 of these particular types of international abductions, and could not reach global affairs, the people who are responsible for these things. So with the help of Calgary police, we booked all the tickets, funded the entire reunification operation, got this mother from YYC all the way to Mauritius, and then Mauritius back home in the same day. And we're very proud to reunite. I didn't sleep for 4 days, and was very proud to reunite this family. I had my personal drivers here pick them up, make sure that they're safe. I get to meet her this week. It's really cool. I'm excited. But then Calgary police get on the record and completely exclude our entire operation. Completely deny that they acted like they were the superheroes. And I'm like, that is exactly why these situations keep happening. You guys didn't pay for that. You can check my credit card statements. I paid for that. We paid for that. My board allowed me to do what we needed to do in an emergency situation. And it infuriates me that Calgary police and global affairs wanted to take credit for it. And so last week I was on the news a bunch of times. I sent all the receipts. Show me the receipts. Literally got the receipts. So yeah, that hurt, man. It really hurt because we care so much. And it's so wrong to take credit for other people's work. And I felt so disrespected from my team. I don't care about me. It's fine. I'll deal with it. But that was not right to do to my team. That was not right to do to that mother and the child. That was not truthful. And it makes me worried that there's so many other lies being spewed in the media. And it's one of our objectives is just tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
That's incredible. That's incredible that you made that happen. That's like next level international stuff. I've been reading about it. That's just good work.
Thanks.
I don't know what to say.
What do you say?
Yeah.
If you were in a position to be able to do something like that, I think that most people would do that, do the right thing. I mean, I hope they would. But again, we're not here to do the same things that every other organization. It's the right thing to do. It's so simple. It's not. I wouldn't be able to have a good Christmas if that child wasn't home safely. And very grateful for our donors and people who have been so generous to put us in a position where we can execute something like that and not think about it.
What does support look like before a situation gets to the point of crisis?
when a survivor's in an abusive relationship, what is that? Well,
Yeah.
like if we're getting someone out of a situation.
Yeah. The earliest support before it actually gets to that point.
I mean, we need safety plans in place, and we try to be as preventative as possible. But a lot of the times we're working with survivors who have already left and are dealing with the justice system, or the injustice system, as I call it. We have had, people need to understand that it's kind of a trifecta. We need advocacy, community, talking about things like we are today. There needs to be money. There needs to be resources. Everybody needs resources. It's a fact of life. And we need legislative change. And so those three components come into, and you can't, the other two fall if you don't have the other one. So it doesn't matter if I raise $1 billion and talk about things, we still have a bad policies. Okay. So if we just change policy, well, people still need resources. Like they all feed into each other. And so we've created systems that help people get safe. And then there's the psychological component of trauma and the nervous system dysregulation that needs to be healed, has to be healed, regardless of who you are, regardless of how tough you are. If you have been through some type of trauma, your nervous system can get deregulated and it will change the entire course of your life. And so we provide end-to-end advocacy services, but also included in that is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy, EMDR, which has been a lifesaver. I mean, I'm living proof that it works, and I would not be alive today if I wasn't able to access that type of therapy. So we're scaling that up, and we provide it at no cost to all the survivors that we serve.
I've been hearing a lot more about that lately.
It's amazing.
What part of this work do you think people underestimate the most?
The hardest part for me is no matter how many laws we change, no matter how much money we raise, no matter how constructive our advocacy is, I can never bring back people who've been murdered because of these reasons. That is the hardest thing to deal with. The parents of these sometimes 17-year-old girls who should be here for the policies in this country, and they're not. And that is the jagged pill to swallow, because it's, you can't bring people back, and they never should have been taken in the first place. So it can be very defeating, but if we save lives through that, then maybe it makes it a little better. But there's fathers that call me, one in particular, usually every fourth Saturday for 10 minutes. He just says, I just wanted to hear a daughter's voice, that's all. And it just makes me so grateful to be alive, but also just puts it all into perspective that what we're doing really matters, and it needs to stop happening. And we need, if there is an issue that is nonpartisan, if there's an issue that should be uniting us, it's violence against other human beings. We need to stop. And that goes for all. That's why it's end violence everywhere. It's not specific to a gender. It's really the generational traumas that need to be eradicated and healed from, and send things forward. Because if you listen to those dads, you don't even know what to say. I'm not one who gets speechless very often, but what's the right thing to do? I don't know.
Well, you have made a lot of impact. So where have you seen the most progress?
I think in the conversations around the issue, because unless you knew, nobody knew what happened to me, right? The public didn't know until the public knew, and the support. So I was really intrigued by this stat. I went to check my Instagram, just see what we're pulling, and 52% of my audience is female, 48% is male. I was like, oh, okay, this is good. This is what we need to talk about. And having men come up and say, you gave me the courage to talk about what happened to me when I was younger, and you've got me inspired to help this issue. And then there's the government side of things. We have made very big strides in the government, been able to unite the House on particular bills, across the aisle, both directions, and say conservatives support this, liberals support that. Guys, get it together. Let's all be pulling in the same direction for this. So that's been a huge win, and we have a lot of programming that's rolling out on a very high level to support people be able to actually heal people's nervous systems. It's been fascinating to watch people get better in 1 hour session. Mind-boggling. Like watching these, women and men just in 6 months' time after working with us go get jobs again, go out and socialize. It's truly a miracle. I mean, reuniting children with their custodial parents. Like, I don't know what more do you want from existence, like giving to others in that capacity. I mean, it's an honor. It's truly an honor.
I'm going to take a quick break.
Okay.
We'll be back. Hey, everyone. If you're new to the show, please subscribe on YouTube. Lots of listeners on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio. Keep subscribing there. Share it with someone. If you think it's a cool concept, share it with your friends. We want to keep it going. So, yeah, thanks so much. Stay tuned for more Deets.
What are you talking about? Can I give you your birthday gift?
Wait. And we're back. There.
Yeah,
now we're back.
Can I give you your birthday gift?
I'd love a birthday gift.
Yay! Because you're like, even if we switch the day, can it still be my birthday? And I was like, of course it can be. I hope you like it.
Thank you. That's pretty much a birthday cake. I'm going to show the camera.
It's a birthday cake chocolate. And Hershey's, sponsor us, please.
Yeah, sponsor me, Hershey's.
Find me.
I love this stuff.
Do you?
Yeah.
I hate sugar.
I don't eat a lot of sugar, but if I do, it's going to be a birthday
it's your
cake
birthday.
Thing. Yeah.
I don't even like sugar, so I don't even know what to do. But I was like, what could be good? What could be shared among people?
You don't like any sugar?
Not really.
Okay.
Not exactly.
Same.
Well, I'm sorry. Should I get you a different gift then?
No, I love those.
You love those?
I had a birthday cake blizzard a couple days ago.
Oh my goodness. Really?
Yeah. It's birthday week.
It's birthday. That's what I'm saying. It's your birthday week. You can have a little bit of a treat every time. And yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, happy early birthday. It's your birthday week. Let's do it.
Just waving to the camera. Thank you. I don't know when this is coming out yet. My birthday will have come and gone. Not anymore. It's back because of this. It lives forever.
Yes.
Okay, let's get back to it. Thanks so much, though.
I mean, of course, it's your birthday. It's important. I love birthdays. I love to celebrate things.
So you speak to rooms full of people.
Yeah.
And what is the idea you care most about them walking away with? If they only could take one thing from what you say in a full...
That intimate partner violence and sexual assault are the single most pervasive issue that everyone knows about but doesn't feel comfortable talking about, and the most costly issue. Intimate partner violence and sexual assault take up 50% of the criminal judicial process, like the cases in the criminal courts. 50%. So 2.5 days out of every 5 days of the week are spent on these issues. But why are we so uncomfortable talking about them? And how much, what's the human cost, the moral cost, the financial costs? Why aren't we dealing with these better?
Is there a belief that you had early on that that's been reshaped for you while doing the work?
It's the same answer as the last question. It's the single most pervasive issue because there are very few people in my life, and not for having an organization, but because these issues are so pervasive that I don't really know any women who haven't been through something.
Yeah.
Of some form, one way or another at some age, So again, what did I learn? I learned that, yeah, we're really not alone and we really have to do something about this, because I think the statistic is that it costs $9 billion Canadian, I think, and some obtuse amount to handle these issues in the hospital systems, in the criminal justice systems, in the housings, it affects all of these. You could break it down into ministries, the education system, the sporting system. There's major issues with the NHL, which we'd really like to tackle. They're the only major sporting organization that doesn't have a legislation or some type of policy around intimate partner violence and sexual assault. MLB has it, NBA has it, NFL has it, NHL has it. Yeah, NFL. Sorry, I get all my sports analogies messed up. So I really wished, I really went public to destigmatize it, being like, it can happen anywhere. And that's what's terrifying about it.
Is there a small action that you see make a bigger difference than people realize?
When men understand, when they seek to understand and get on board with it, it shapes everything. I mean, almost 50% of our board is male. We've employed men. It's very, very important to have these conversations.
What's something that gives you optimism when you're out speaking and working in this space?
It's amazing to see people who didn't understand care. It's amazing to see survivors get better. Makes me so happy. It's really see people who weren't affiliated or not associated become associated and become interested and engaged, and then to see survivors change their lives with support. And even if it's, that little increment, that trajectory just becomes totally different. And I love it. I love to see systems change too. My German brain loves to see a restructuring of something. So yeah, that's what inspires. It's inspiring. Makes it all worth it. Some days are really hard. Some days you just don't have the capacity to be everything to somebody. So when you have a success, those successes are very, 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 very sweet. And I'm proud to say that we've had a lot of successes, and it makes it all super worth it. That's why I'm getting my PI's license, so we can,
When someone comes to you for help and you're trying to assess the situation, what are you paying attention to that some people with less experience might miss?
Well, we always be trauma informed, always lean on the side of empathy and compassion and belief, which is often overlooked in the current structural systems. Always encourage people to, if they're suitable for it, come to our EMDR groups, come be a part of that, because without a functioning nervous system, it doesn't matter. You're not going to get better. You're not going to be okay. And the beauty of these therapies that work, these somatic therapies that work, is that they help rewire the brain. Our brains are plastic. They're malleable things. They're things that can heal and get better. And I want people to know that healing is possible with the right support and the right type of therapy. Healing is 100%, something that's a possibility.
Is there something that, if someone wants to help, is there something that they should not do?
Tell a survivor what to do. Tell someone in a situation how. The survivors are the experts of their abuser. The survivors are the experts of what is safe and what isn't safe, because in living with someone or being in a relationship with someone, even if it's a very short relationship, so people need to believe, lean in with compassion, and allow people to have emotions about these things too. Oh, y'all get over it. That is my least favorite saying, because that is not how this works. And when you tell people that, it actually makes it worse. So it makes them feel more ashamed of what has happened to them, instead of saying, I understand, I am here for you. Those 3 words, I am here, help nervous system co-regulation. And so even you and I in this very moment can co-regulate with another, knowing, say, I'm here, we are here in this space together, we're in this moment. And when you go up to someone who's in trauma and say, are you okay? Their brain is in its their amygdala is so fired up right now, and their limbic system is so fired up that they can't access the prefrontal cortex to say exactly, to articulate what's going on with them. And so it's really, really important that we have the right language. And what we're trying to do is work with the frontline workers about this particular language restructuring so that they can have better opportunities to help people heal as well and assess the situation. So the words "I am here" I've seen it work for people in stress. I've been on a Zoom meeting 2,000 kilometers away from a friend of mine who was having a panic attack, and I was able, just with language, to be able to start co-regulating with her on camera and bring her to a place where she was smiling within 7-8 minutes. So I think that's really important. I think we need to understand, with our technological advances and the sort of disconnect that we have, that we are people, we are mammals. We need those. We have primal needs that need to be met, and we need any human interaction to meet those needs. Otherwise, it can be traumatic.
When you look at the current landscape of support, where do you see the biggest gap that needs to be addressed?
It's a good question off of the last, because we've seen a lot of survivors, and we've worked hard to have police and frontline relationships or have different relationships with police and frontline workers that are, people that we know and can trust, and say, hey, this is what happened to this person. Can you, please talk to them about this and take their statement properly and meet them where they're at. And that has been, a huge undertaking, but the gaps are lack of trauma-informed care, lack of, well, maybe he'll only do it once. I'm like, well, if he's hitting people, there's already a problem. Like, there was a lot of steps that happened before that psychologically. And, most first-time offenders, as they call it in the criminal and justice system, most first-time offenders are not first-time offenders. You can usually trace it back. They say that, the scientists say that psychopaths are created within the first 0 to 6 months of existence. So something breaks down in that individual's nervous system that then they can't escape it, which is sad. I have empathy for that, but it doesn't mean, I was nearly killed, nearly beaten to death. Does that give me permission to go around beating people to death? No, of course not. So there's no excuse for this. It's a choice. Abuse is a choice.
So what does better support look like in practice, not in theory?
So trauma-informed support, which again is a very broad stroke statement. It's about having the empathy, about believing survivors, about treating them properly. The current therapies that are provided by the government systems, like CBT therapy, are not the proper therapies for these types of nervous system dysregulating trauma experiences. So we need proper therapies to be scaled up and, met at an affordable rate. They need to be integrated into almost every single system, be that the schooling system, be that the government themselves. If they understood it, if the government officials understood it, then they might be able to create policy around it. Something that really bothers me, actually, I'll say this for the record, that members of parliament are not forced to read the criminal code, but they get to make decisions on the criminal code. I think that's a little bit weird. Don't you?
Yeah.
You're allowed to make legislative changes, but you're not forced to actually read what the legislation currently is. And I think that's dumb. So and I've read I'm about halfway through. It's 1,000 or so, 1,400 pages. I don't even remember, but it's quite a number of pages. But I think it's really important that we understand the language of what's actually written there so that we can apply it properly too. So yeah, it's there's a lot of gaps. We got a lot of work to do.
Can you tell me about the Amethyst Project?
Yes. So the Amethyst Project is a 3-tier project that we created. Amethyst being amethyst. Amethyst being
That's my birthstone.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, you have a little purple haze going on right now. Love it.
I did it for you.
Thank you. I figured. I love amethyst. So the amethyst is also a symbol of, strength, healing, and we created these projects as 3 tiers. It has a housing component. So the Amethyst residences, the biggest issue that survivors face in leaving is, where do you go? Sometimes survivors don't have family support. Shelters are not the adequate place for somebody who's coming from a home life to necessarily go into, or the shelters are all full. They're so underfunded by the government that there's no space. You know, I've called shelters across this country and there's nowhere to send anybody. So we've paid for hotels. We've paid for temporary situations for people fleeing abuse. But again, these are temporary solutions. So what we propose is to build modular homes communities where survivors can come and have a little bit more independence, have things built and constructed in a way that is very comfortable and that is not demoralizing. And so that's one aspect of it. We are working with the hospital sector so fun facts here. 95% of survivors that come through the ER are not detected in the ER. I look at my own experience. 2 weeks prior to my attempted murder, I had entered the hospital system in Toronto for a panic attack that was precipitated by my ex's actions. Was it detected there? Actually, the doctor asked me what's going on at home, and I burst into tears. Did I get any support for that in the 12 to 14 hours that I waited for the social worker to come in the hospital? No. It could have, had I had intervention at that point, when it was, just a panic attack, then maybe we could have prevented July 31st from being the horror show that it was. Perhaps, maybe. But because nothing was done, well, we definitely know that there's a gap. Yeah, there's a lot missing, and we need. And then the final tier, of the Amethyst project, is having Amethyst response teams that support the survivors in those situations. But then also we need to build EMDR facilities and therapeutic facilities. So there's a spa, if you will, a safe, protected area component of this project that we can treat people with severe trauma in 4 to 5 days intensively, but we don't do it. They do it in Europe and it works magically. So the Nordic countries that are rated on the scale of happiness super high, they use EMDR for everything. And if we scaled up that type of therapy, I think it would change the culture, change society.
So if your work succeeds, what do you want this to look like in 5 years?
I would love to have in every possible state, every possible province and territory, to have a facility operable, for that community, and scale it up. We build subdivisions, we build, have we have the solution. We have something that people need. And if we can roll it out, we can help people, we can help prevent generational trauma. We'd also like to get into the incarceral systems, into the youth detention centers, and start working with young offenders and there was a study out of Queen's University where they started using EMDR for people who were committing offenses, and it was helping them regulate their own emotions better and helping them be less violent. And so that, I think, being preventative, having the education system, having these conversations in an age-appropriate, healthy way with school children. It's really going to take all of us, and it's going to take a whole hands-on approach. But this is what we're proposing because I've seen it work in real time, and I'm living proof that it works. And I think everyone deserves to be free from violence, but also, if it happens, have the opportunity to recover from it.
Can you tell everybody how to get in contact with you, how to get involved?
My name is Cait Alexander, C-A-I-T, just so people know. Alexander. The Google works. Instagram, all the things, all the apps. And please reach out. Please reach out.
That's everything I have. Do you have anything else?
This was lovely. Thank you. Thank you for wearing purple. Thank you for embracing Miss Ruby, and happy early birthday.
Thanks.
Of course. Thanks
That's
for
the
having
show.
me.
Here's your dog.
Ta-da! Come here, little baby. Come here, little baby. Why are you so silly? Why are you so silly, huh? Why are you so silly?
I'm ending it.
All right, it's over.